to today?
I am so glad you asked that, little lighting crew that's on strike today. Uh, Today's adventure is the train ride.
Yay!
There's a train that goes through the town that they live in the forest, in the woods, and it goes through every day. And when they go through the town, they have to slow down. And so the engineer blows the whistle, toot, toot, when he gets to the edge of the town. And then he goes chuggy, 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 because a while ago he was going chuggy, 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 chuggy. So all the boys and girls, if they don't have anything else to do, they all run down to the tracks and they wave to the engineer as he's going by. And sometimes, depending on which engineer it is and what he's been doing, where he's gone on his train that day, sometimes they even throw oranges at the boys and girls for them to keep. How about that? That's really a true story. So, today's adventure is the train ride. Well, Piggly Wiggly and Squiggly had a beautiful breakfast. Another session of blueberry pancakes, because that's what they were in the mood for. And you know how good blueberry pancakes are, boys and girls. They are so good. Yeah. My crew was looking at me like, I've never heard of blueberry pancakes before. Stick with GrandMommy. You'll learn about a lot of stuff. So anyway, Mrs. Piggy says, what are you boys and girls going to do today? Oh, Piggly says, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's even going to come over. It looks like it might rain today, and I don't want to have to stay in the house. And Wiggly says, and Squiggly says, Mommy, what can we do? It's going to rain. And she says, well, the weatherman said this morning on the TV that it was just going to be overcast this morning, but late morning it was not going to rain. The clouds would be all gone. Do you boys know what time the train comes through the town? And Squiggly says, I know what time it comes through. It comes through every day at 11 o'clock. And it comes back in the afternoon at 5 o'clock. And so Mrs. Piggly says, Miss Mama Piggy says, well, I think I might have a surprise for you. And you can even invite Little Bad Wolf and Allie the Alligator. And you can invite Patty Pig and, for safety, and Sally Skunk and Sadie Skunk. Do you think they would all like to go on your adventure today? Well, Mommy, Piggy, Mommy, what is it? And she says, we are going to take a train ride. Oh, my heavens above. They had never been on a train, and they just thought that was the greatest thing that ever happened. This was going to be, oh my gosh, such a great adventure. Well, all the boys and girls came. They all showed up. And Mrs. Piggy says, come inside, girls and boys. I want to tell you something. And so they all trooped in the house. And she said, okay, sit down. She said, how would everybody like to go on a train ride today? Oh my gracious sakes. Sadie Skunk says, you mean I get to go too? I get to go too? Oh, I'm so excited, I'm so excited, I'm so excited. And Mrs. Piggy, Mommy Piggy says, all of you get to go because I already called your mamas and your papas. So all of you get to go. And so they all were excited. So she said, okay, when 10:30 comes, no, let's make that 15 minutes after 10. When 15 minutes after 10 comes, set your watches. Make sure that your watches are on the right wrist and that they're on the same time. Because at 15 minutes after 10, I want you boys and girls to come inside, wash your hands and wash your feet and wash your face. Okay, Mommy Pig, we will do that. And off they ran to their favorite great big reading tree. And they decided just to take it easy today because they wanted to make sure that they got home at the right time, at 15 minutes after 10. So Squiggly, being the smartest one, he says, okay, we can sit in this tree until 10 o'clock. When 10 o'clock comes, we have to get down out of the tree and we have to head for the house. It takes about 15 minutes to get to their house, to the big reading tree. So they read and they had a good time and they talked about what they were reading. And all of a sudden, Squiggly says, oops, it's 5 minutes after 10. We got to hurry now. We're late. We didn't get out of the tree at 10 o'clock. We got to hurry. So down the road they went. Down the little path they went. And they got to their house at 15 minutes after 10. They made it right on time. Mommy Piggy, she's so sweet. She had washcloths and towels and everything, soap, all laid out for them to wash their faces and their hands and their feet because they get dirty in the woods. So they all put their shoes back on and off they go. They walked all the way through town, didn't even ask Mr. Farmer Brown for a ride or anything. And here comes the train. Woo, woo, chuggy, 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 because it's going through town. I can't go fast. And when it saw Miss Mama Piggy standing there with all the children, it knew, the engineer knew that they had tickets and they were going to go on a train ride. He was so excited because there was nobody on the train today. And the conductor didn't have anything to do and anybody to talk to. So this was going to be great for everybody. So they got on the train car and they all took a seat. And of course they all wanted to sit by the window. So they all lined up all the way down the train car on this window over here because they were going this direction. On the way back, I can tell you right now what they did. They all lined up on the other side of the train because they were going that direction. Well, the conductor just thought they were such a bunch of sweet kids. He says, how are you doing today, boys and girls? I see you when we go through your town. You're always down to the train. Stop that. You're always down to the train tracks. And so they all laughed and talked to the conductor, and even the engineer came back down from his car. He hadn't started up the train yet, but he wanted to say, thank you, Mrs. Piggy, for going on your train ride today. And Mrs. Piggy says, thank you, Mr. Conductor. I thought it would be a great treat for the boys and girls this summer. He says, okay, I'll do my best. So he goes back down to the engine, and he starts to chug, 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 woo-hoo. And here, at the edge of the town, he gets chug, 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 woo, woo, chuggy, chuggy. And all of a sudden, he came to the bridge. There was a sign up on the bridge that said, you can't cross the bridge, Mr. Train, because there's two great big boards out and we're working as fast as we can to replace the boards. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So the engineer, Mr. Engineer, he was kind of worried, was the rest of the boards going to be okay? If these two were broken, would the rest of them be okay? But I guess we'll find out if we go over the train, the train go over the bridge. I don't know. So he goes back and he tells Mama Piggy, he said, okay, boys and girls, we got to sit nice and still. We can sing some songs if you want to, but there's a bunch of men up on top of the bridge, and they're fixing two of the railroad pieces that goes across the tracks, the ties, the railroad ties. Well, Mrs. Piggy, she was pretty smart, and she said, "Is it going to be safe to go across after they fix them?" He says, "Well, I think so." He says, "But I'm going to go down while you boys and girls are singing songs. I am going to go down and look at the bridge myself and talk to the people who are repairing it, who are making it good again." So off the train he hopped, and he went down, and he's looking at the bridge, and he's looking at the bridge, and he says, "Mr. Fix-It Man, I don't know." He says, that piece of wood right there doesn't look good either." "All right, Mr. Engineer, I'll fix that one too. It's only going to be another half an hour." And Mr. Engineer, he goes, "Oh, this is not going to be very good, because now I'm going to be late and the people are expecting me on time." So he looked at the bridge, and he found everything was good except for that one that he found. Now he's got 3 railroad ties to fix back up. So Mr. Fix-It Man says, "We will hurry as much as you can so that we'll get you there on time." So the engineer goes back to the engine, and he telephones the next town to tell them that he was delayed, but he was going to try to hurry. Well, a half an hour is 30 minutes, boys and girls. Do you know that Mr. Fix-It Man came up to the engine, and he says, "Mr. Engineer," and the engineer man put his head out the window, and he says, "What?" He says, "We're all done. 20 minutes. I made my men hurry and hurry and hurry for you." And Mr. Engineer says, "Oh, thank you so much." And so off they go, cross the bridge, chuggy, 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 woo, 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 chuggy, chuggy, chuggy. And they go into the next town, and they were just about 5 minutes late.
Oh, good job.
Mr. Engineer did a real good job. So Mama Piggy got all the boys and girls off that train, and they went over to the tracks, and they went on the other train. Now they're going this way, back home. So all the boys and girls went on that side of the train so they could see out the windows. And they got home after a beautiful train ride, and they saw so many things. They saw some deer, and they saw some pretty flowers, and they just saw people waving to them, and they were waving back and forth. They had such a good time, and they all got off the train. Well, Mr. Farmer Brown had kind of heard from, I think it was Allie the alligator's mother, told Mr. Farmer Brown what Mrs. Piggy had done, what Mama Piggy had done. So he was at the train station to meet the boys and girls so they wouldn't have to walk home in the hot sun. And Mama Piggy says, "I'm so glad that you're here, Mr. Farmer Brown. Thank you so much. That was so kind of you." And he says, "No problem." He says, "Did the boys and girls have a good time?" And she said, "Yes, they did. They had a real good time." And he says, "Okay." He says, "Let's go home now." Do you know what Mama Piggy had waiting for them? Some ice cream and iced tea. And they were so excited. And boys and girls, we're going to end that with a short little story today. And I hope to see you back Wednesday. And don't forget, YouTube, just write in Grandmommy's name, Winnie Skis, and you'll see all the adventures. Okie dokie. See you Wednesday. Bye.